Welcome, and welcome to the channel. Guys, I'm starting off a bit differently today. Want to do a different view because I feel like I'm always doing the same thing and it can be a bit stale. So yeah, starting off with a different view today. Want to show you guys my outfit. Greg is a lucky guy and he knows it. It's probably why he treats me so well. But yes, looking good, looking good. I wanted to show you guys quickly what my place looks like essentially. So this is the hotel that I'm staying at. As you guys know, I'm here on a work trip. I'm a very tidy person. I have done a couple of bits of shopping that I will show you guys later in the vlog. So I'm gonna my camera and we can get comfortable and have a discussion because today's gonna be juicy. I'm so glad to have you on the channel. If you're new, I'd basically discuss topics, viral topics, relationships, dating, advice, and just topics about Black women specifically, but it's also for women as well. It's not just Black women, but I mostly focus on Black women. But if you are not a Black woman and you're on this channel, welcome. I am still very happy to have you here. Grab yourself a cup of coffee, tea, a glass of wine, a bottle of water, whatever you wish, and let's have a discussion. Okay, let's have a discussion. Hold on, guys, I need to get some tissue because this water is just misbehaving and going on my laptop, and that cannot be allowed to happen. Okay, so today I'm going to discuss a very juicy topic that's going to have some people going, ho, ho, Okay, so what's that topic about? It's the fact that Black women cannot date men who are below them financially. It's very, very important. You're getting the message online a lot that you must date somebody or you must settle or lower your standards. It's not true. The only thing that leads to is Abby Choi situations. And I've discussed this before. I've discussed Abby Choi before on my channel when I spoke about how Black women need to date men on their class, financial class or higher. I've discussed that before. It leads to Abby Choi situations. Now, let me take this very large swig of water before I get into it with you. Revitalizing. Okay. Okay, so what I need Black women to understand is that men, unfortunately, they've been taught that the only value that they provide is financially. But actually, a lot of men do not understand that they are also able to provide emotional security. They don't understand that. So not only does the guy need to provide financially, because some men will provide financially and they won't give you that emotional security. So a lot of women who are being provided for are still very insecure in their relationships. They don't feel comfortable. They don't feel safe in their relationships because the man is not giving them any emotional security. Men can provide financially and emotionally too, not just emotionally, but also physically by protecting you. Obviously, some men will be the actual predators that you're running from, but some men will also be able to provide protection. At the end of the day, most of the time, the person that will protect you from a man is another man. Let's be real here. Let's be real. So it's very important that ladies, especially Black women, do not listen to this whole rhetoric of dating down. When you set a certain standard for your life, it's 100% important that you give your partner that same standard. Now, obviously, everybody is different, and you need to remember that not everybody will have the same mindset that you have. No two human beings are the same. But a standard is a certain set of guidelines that you've given yourself for how you want to live your life. And you need to apply that to the person that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Because a standard is a lifelong thing that you've given yourself. Sometimes your standards can change, but you tend to put them in your place to remain in your life forever. So if you're giving yourself standards, then the person that you're going to live with for the rest of your life needs to also have that same standard and meet that standard too. So don't listen to any of the guys that are saying this. Bearing in mind, a lot of Black women, what you need to understand is when you date down, men that have pride will struggle deeply with the fact that they cannot provide anything for you, bearing in mind that not only can they not provide for you, but they cannot provide for themselves either. That's very painful. That's extremely painful. And that can lead a man to become resentful, angry, bitter, frustrated, and even violent. So it's very, very important that you date a man on your level financially or higher. It's very, very important. Most of the time, what happens is when you date a guy who's below you financially, he'll end up cheating, because men need to feel like they can impress the woman that they love or the woman that they're with. And how do they impress a woman? They impress a woman by building respect and admiration from that woman. I respect and admire Greg a lot. If you guys don't know who Greg is my fiance. He is in Polish. I am Nigerian. Yes, it is an interracial marriage. I have left my engagement ring back in the UK, but you can go all over my channel. You see my engagement ring everywhere. It's fantastic. It's beautiful. And I respect Greg a lot, and I love him. And I admire him because he impresses me. He does things that make me, feel like, wow, this is good. This is awesome. And a guy needs to be able to impress you. And he needs to be able to get your admiration and respect in order to feel like he is doing something in your life. He's contributing positively to your life. And when a man can't do that, it really, really affects him. So what he'll do is he'll end up cheating on you. He'll go and look for the girl that requires less than you do and that is low maintenance. Maybe she's struggling. Maybe she hasn't built herself as much as you have. And he'll go and he'll spoil her and he'll do all the things that you were struggling to get out of him, because he can impress her. He can impress her. He can make her go, wow, with the little that he manages to do. But with you, because you can already do those things, he can't impress you. What can he impress you? You can do those things already. So he's going to end up feeling like he can't do anything because he's not on the same level that you are at. And he'll look for someone on the level that he's at or below his level so he can impress them. And that's why you see a lot of guys, they'll go off and cheat even though the woman does everything for them. She takes care of him. She gives him her car to drive. She pays the bills, the groceries, blah, blah, blah. Because the guy can't do anything. And you're doing it all for him. So he'll go and look for someone that he can do something for. I see this happen so many times. A guy needs to be able to impress you. Without being impressed, if you're not impressed by him, then he has no place there. It's very important. There are two types of providing, in my opinion. There's group one, which is an additional extra add-on. So that's like the vacations, the gifts, the lavish restaurants, the lifestyle, all of that. Then you've got group two, which is your rent or your mortgage, your bills, your healthcare, your how you get around, your groceries, that kind of thing. A guy can provide both, or he can provide one of those things. And I'm seeing a lot of women who are with guys who don't even provide anything from two of those groups. Now, Greg provides both for me. And that's the sweet part. If you get with someone and they're able to provide both for you, that's absolutely fantastic. And I'm very fortunate that Greg provides both for me. But a lot of ladies are falling into the trap of watching all these podcasts and they're like, oh yes, especially these podcasts that talk about black women and blah, blah, blah. They go, oh yes, black women only need to be able to date this. They should settle for this. And listen, let me tell you something. When you lie to yourself about what you want, it never gets anywhere. You never get anywhere. You never get what you really want because you've lied to yourself about what it is you really want. At the end of the day, you need to be 100% honest with what you want. I am a woman that I am an expensive woman. I know exactly what I want. And I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm not interested. If anyone likes, they can cry from now till Christmas. They can cry from now till Valentine's Day, Christmas, all the other holidays. It's never going to change exactly what I want. I know exactly what I want. And I want what I want, and I make no apologies for it. And you need to develop that attitude. And I see a lot of women who essentially think that if they lower their standards, to make themselves look good. Oh, yes, I'm not like the other girls. I will accept this guy, even though he has absolutely nothing to offer me. I'll accept him because, I just want to prove that I'm not like the other women. I'm not like the other women. I don't want this. I don't demand this. I don't demand that. Me, I demand, oh. I demand, oh.
I need or I want to. I don't make apologies for it. I want what I want. Simple. And a lot of ladies lie to themselves. And then when they get with guys who treat them badly, who don't even give them... I mean, I'm talking about guys who won't even take you out to the cinema. They won't even take you on they won't even get you an ordinary coffee. You'll be splitting the bill. You'll be splitting the bill for coffee. You'll be splitting the bill for coffee and croissant. I'm sorry, it's too much. It's too much. Like, when you lie to yourself about what you want, you end up with situations like that. And then when you see the woman who gets what she wants being spoiled rotten, you'll start becoming bitter. You'll be going, this woman, she's just a gold digger. She's just this and that. She's just that. But meanwhile, you're there suffering. And the woman you're complaining about is there enjoying. She doesn't give a damn. And you're there suffering. Hey. Or more, I need ladies to get sense. Get sense. You see, it doesn't even make sense to date someone below you financially. And remember, I've said that men can also provide emotional protection and physical protection too. But unfortunately, they judge themselves most by the financial part. So that's the part that you really need to focus on, because that's what they judge themselves on the most. Now, look at it this way. Let's say you're a well-learned woman, well-educated woman like me. You've got your master's degree, or you've got, a PhD, or you've got whatever. You've got a good career, or you've got, you've got things going on, a business or whatever. You've built yourself up well. You've got a good setup, and then you get with a guy who's literally got absolutely nothing. Maybe he doesn't even have anything. Maybe he just has less than you. But he is struggling. He doesn't have anything. He's just not going anywhere. Look at it this way. Let's say he's unemployed and he's been unemployed for a while. Oh, pardon. Sorry, guys. I just had a release of gas. But let's say he's been unemployed for a while, right? And you go out to do some shopping because you can do that. Let's say you go out, you buy yourself an £800 dress. And this guy has spent all day looking for jobs and being rejected. He's living in your house. He's eating your food. He's doing different things. And you come home and you ask him, how's your day? And he says, my day was horrible. I was rejected from several jobs. I applied for a couple of jobs. I don't know why I'm not being employed. Are you going to feel comfortable about telling him that you've bought an £800 dress? Be honest with yourself. When he tells you something like that, are you going to be comfortable? You know why you're not comfortable. Because the gulf between lifestyles and realities is too wide. The gulf is too wide. You cannot relate to that situation that guy's going through, and he can't relate to yours. And a lot of the time, the man will know that the only reason he's able to literally live is because you're subsidizing him. And that brings about resentment, because essentially what that means is if you leave, he can no longer live the lifestyle or even the basics with what he has. And that brings about resentment, because no man likes to feel beholden, especially not to a woman. Especially not to a woman, especially a man that has pride. Forget it. Forget that rubbish. Forget that nonsense. No guy likes to feel beholden. So that will bring around resentment, because at the end of the day, you can take that lifestyle away if you leave him. That's another thing. Then there's also the fact that you are not going to stop doing the things you're doing just because you're with him and just because you can't afford to do them. Now, obviously, everybody should be emotionally sensitive to what their partner can afford and can't afford to do. But you can't completely stop all the things you want to do just because you're with someone who can't afford to do those things. So what will happen is you'll end up going to a lot of things alone. You'll end up traveling alone if the guy can't pay, because are you going to pay for him every single time? You'll end up traveling alone. You'll end up doing things, and that will also build resentment as well. So there's that to keep in mind. Look, you cannot build a life with someone who has nothing. If you say you want to get married, right? You think you can build a life with someone, and you say you have £2,000, £3,000, £4,000, £5,000 in your account. You think you can build a life with someone? You think you can marry someone like that? Marriage is not for the broke. I need you guys to understand that. Forget all this nonsense you see. Why do you think the royal family went to go and marry? Why? Look at the kind of people that they marry. Yes, they may not be as rich as them, but those people still have money. They are not going to marry commoners for a reason. And remember, do you guys remember that show, that movie, Crazy Rich Asians, where Astrid, she had, she dated down, she dated a guy who was below her. Not only was he cheating on her, which is what I said previously, the guy will end up cheating on you, but he was literally insulting her over every single thing she bought all the time, to the point where she had to start hiding her purchases from him. And this is what I'm saying. You come home at the end of the day after doing this, doing that with the money that you've made or the lifestyle you've been able to create for yourself, and you're with a guy who hasn't been able to do that. You're not even going to be able to talk about your day because you know that that's not going to go down well. And Astrid started hiding the purchases that she was making from him because he didn't feel good about himself. He felt bad about himself and he was insecure. And on top of that, she knew that he couldn't impress her. And that was a very, very big problem. Obviously, he ended up cheating on her and she ended up divorcing him. Thank God. But she should have never been in that situation in the first place. And I need black women to understand this. All these guys that are telling you, all these nonsense podcasts that are telling you the guys will go for the girl, the men that have money will go for the girl with fries at McDonald's. Or more, don't mind those mumu. Those mumu, they don't even know what they're saying. Those mumu. Don't mind those mumu. Those guys don't know what they're saying. Men go for the ladies in their vicinity, in their class. I have a master's degree. Greg has a master's degree. Guys date within their class, especially guys that have something. Please, the guys that have money are dating the women that have money, and they're marrying the women that have money as well. It's very, very important. All these nonsense that you're seeing online with the guys going, the guys will go for girls with fries and McDonald's. Which fries are McDonald's? Those guys are not hanging around McDonald's, mumu. Don't look. I need black women to get sense. Do not listen to guys like that. Do not listen to guys like that. Okay, that is absolute nonsense. Most of the guys I see that have money, they're also dating the women that have something. Or it's very, very important as a woman that you have your own things. Just because a guy provides for you, it doesn't stop you from creating something for yourself. Every human being, I've said it previously, every human being needs to be able to take care of themselves. You need to be able to say you can go and buy bread and milk and do that. You need to be able to do that. Yes, the guy can be providing for you and you can be enjoying that, but you need to also produce something for yourself. The guy providing for you does not stop you from having something, because you need to be able to have that agency within yourself. And then the guy providing for you will be the sweetener. Now, there are two types of broke guys. There are guys who are broke perpetually for years. Those ones that they'll be talking about how, okay, another trap that women fall into, potential. Black women. Oh, they'll say, oh, you should date the guy with potential and build something with him. And then when you build something with him, you'll have something together. Or more, it's not everybody that has the potential that has the ability to turn that potential into reality. There's this word, enteleki, which is turning theory into practical. Can you take what you've learned and apply it to your life? There's a difference. It's not every guy that has potential that you need to waste your time on. You don't waste your time on a man that has potential but does not have the ability to turn that potential into reality. Does he know the direction he's taking? Does he have vision? Does he have an understanding of how to get to where he wants to get to? Because there are many people, many men who know what they want, but they don't know the path to take. So they stay in the same place for years. Then there are men who don't even know what they want. Those ones, they have not even started the climb. They've not even started the climb. If you're going to date a guy with potential, he needs to have the ability to turn that potential into tangible results. Otherwise, it is pointless. Bearing in mind, right, that a man needs to be providing financially, emotionally, physically for you. Those are very important. It's not just the finances, but the finances is incredibly important because that's what they judge themselves off the most. Now, you've got two types of broke guys. The first group, those ones are broke for 10, 15 years. Yeah, avoid those type of guys. Then you've got the guys who are broke for a couple of years and then they'll rise. Remember, everybody at some point in their life has been broke unless you're born rich. Then at some point in your life, everybody will experience struggle because we're living in a world where majority of people are struggling. This is just a fact. Majority of people, both men and women, are struggling financially. They're suffering. So I have a lot of empathy for people who are unemployed. You know, it happens. That's life. I get it. But what you need to understand is that it's not every guy that has potential that you give a chance to, right? There are some men who, after 2 or 3 years, they'll rise because they know what they're doing. They understand how to get there. Maybe getting there isn't that easy, but they understand the path to take. Now, you need to be able to discern between those type of guys. But like I said, you need to avoid the ones that are just, they have just been down forever. Just avoid those kind of guys. Anyone that's telling you to settle for less than what you have done for yourself is an enemy to you. It's a fact. Because at the end of the day, the standards that you set for your life, you need to have those standards in place for the person that is going to live the rest of your life with you. You cannot give one standard to yourself and another standard to the person that is going to be in your life forever. It doesn't make any sense. I need ladies to understand this. You need to get smarter than the guys that you're listening to. You need to be smarter. And you need to understand, right, that you 100% deserve. If you've built your life up to a place where you are comfortable financially and you've taken care of yourself, you've gone through the processes, you 100% deserve to be with a partner who's financially stable. And I'm not saying don't go from one extreme to the other. So he doesn't need to be a millionaire or a billionaire, and he doesn't need to be extremely broke either. There are plenty of men out there who make good salaries, good money, who are able to provide a decent, comfortable lifestyle for you. So there is balance. There's the in between. There's a large group of people. Bearing in mind, I need black ladies to understand that if a guy has money and he's providing, but he won't marry you, and he won't, in fact, forget the providing. If a guy has money and he won't marry you and he won't take care of you and do things for you, then that's pointless. You don't need to be with someone who has money, but you never spoils you and never does anything for you. That doesn't make any sense. Okay, that's still a struggle. The struggle is still there. You know, like I said, you can get with a guy who's got potential and he may be struggling, but sometimes if the guy really loves you, he'll do everything to make sure that you're taken care of. He'll do everything to make sure you're taken care of. And when that guy rises, you will enjoy it. But you have to be very careful about how you pick that kind of person. That reminds me of a scene in One Tree Hill where Nathan does the MBA, gets into MBA, and he tells Haley, "Thank you so much for waiting for me." And Haley said, "Thank you so much for being worth the wait." You have to figure out who is worth that and who isn't. Most of the time, most guys are not worth that. That's the reality, unfortunately. So it's just better to date someone above your level or on the same level as you. All this nonsense of, and don't listen to ladies like Pearl. Pearl is a desperate person who was never liked. She always wanted male attention and she never got it. And, you know, she's bitter about that because all of the things that she says makes absolutely no sense. Ladies like Pearl, those are the women who lower their standards, by the way, and then get angry when they see women who don't lower their standards getting what they want. She is someone who essentially never got attention, and now she's coming out with these disgusting mindsets and rhetorics like, oh, women who are abused are lying, or 16-year-olds are hot. You don't want to end up like that because Pearl has lied to herself about what she wants. You don't want to be like that. So do not lie to yourself about what you want. It's perfectly fine to want a guy on the same level as you or higher. And don't listen to men that say your education means nothing. I cannot imagine a man having the guts to come to my father and tell my father after he's put all the effort into my education, paid for all my education, to come to my father's face and tell my father that my education means nothing. He'll be lucky if he leaves that house in one piece. He will be. So don't listen to men that tell you your education means nothing and that you should lower your standards. That's absolute nonsense. Your education is very important. As a human being, you need to understand the world around you. And you need to be able to rise and you need to be able to develop yourself emotionally, mentally, physically, financially. And as a woman, you also deserve the right to do that. And you deserve the right to require the same thing of the partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with. Your mortal life. Like, I need ladies to understand this. Okay, your standards are what the set of rules you want to live your life by. That is not something that you can be dipping and going up like seesaw. Wee, wee, wee. No, you can't be doing that. Otherwise, your life is going to look crazy. It's going to look dysfunctional. You must have that standard. That standard must remain the same for everybody you bring into your life, your friends, your family, your partner especially. I need ladies to understand this, okay? So yeah, avoid listening to people like I don't have time for that pearly face or whatever her name is. I don't even see her videos at all. YouTube does not even send me stuff like that because YouTube knows. YouTube has sense. It doesn't send me nonsense like that. So black women especially, you need to have the self-esteem, especially if you've gotten yourself to a stage. Getting a guy to ask you to marry him is not hard. I've had 2 men ask me to marry them, and I'm not even 30 yet. I'm 28. It's not that hard, right? Especially if you know exactly what you want. Getting a guy that has something to ask you to marry is not hard. You need to know what you want. You need to stick to your boundaries and your standards unapologetically. That doesn't mean that you need to be rude or you need to treat people badly. That's not what I'm saying. Don't do that, please. Please don't do that. But you need to be steadfast in your standards for your life. And you need to be proud of what you want for yourself. Don't deny yourself. Don't lie to yourself about what you want and the standards that you have. Don't do that, because at the end of the day, when you lie to yourself and you get with a guy that makes less or has less and you start suffering, you start being emotionally abused, financially abused, no one will care. Everybody will come and tell you, you chose him. That's what they'll say. Well, you chose him, so why are you in that situation? You chose him. And you'll say, well, I was just listening to everyone who told me to take down. And they'll say, well, that's your fault. And it will be your fault, because at the end of the day, you are the one who decides who you let into your life. So you deserve to be with someone who has the same standards for themselves that you have, who is able to take care of themselves the way you are, and who actually can provide you with something, who can offer you something. Please, 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 ladies, do not listen to all this podcast crap. Most of these people saying this, they don't even have a decent relationship to boast of. They can't even stay in a long-term relationship, or let alone a marriage, or even stay in a marriage without boxing each other to pieces. Okay? It's very, very important. I want black ladies to have better outcomes. I'm all about better outcomes. And it's important that you guys understand that you cannot date below your level. And for the men who are looking for women, when you know that the woman has a certain standard and you know you can't provide that, why be a mumu and put yourself under stress going for something that you know you cannot maintain? It's unnecessary stress. You know, human beings, I've noticed that most human beings are not smart enough to avoid unnecessary stress. Yeah. They see stress, they jump right into it. They see stress. Stress is like the shark, and human beings are like the bait. And the bait just falls right into the shark's mouth. Literally. Human beings see stress and they run towards things that they don't need to put themselves under. If you're a guy and you know that a woman has a certain requirements, the very same requirements she has is exactly what drew you to her in the first place. But yet you want her to lower those things so that you can afford to be in that same space. It doesn't work that way. If she lowers the standards, the very same things that made you like her will disappear, because those standards are what got her to the level that attracted you in the first place. I need guys to understand this, because they really don't understand this. You don't need to force someone to lower their standards so that you can date them. Just go and date the person that meets you where you're at. Everybody needs to be meeting each other where they're at. You understand what I'm saying? Greg is in fact, Greg is higher than me financially. Yeah, I would 100% say that. I have a house in Nigeria. You guys know we started construction and everything, but Greg has it. He has it. He's doing very well for himself. And at the end of the day, he takes care of me. He spoils me. The same level of effort he puts into his life and his assets and his investments is the same level of effort he puts into our relationship. So I need you, ladies, especially black women,